So this week has been one of quite major wrestling announcements from former WWE talent, WWE itself, TNA especially last night, and Global Force Wrestling. And I have a question mark actually about Global Force Wrestling's announcement that was made earlier in this week. Well, firstly, and I put up a couple of short videos regarding two of these announcements, but I'll go through them again because I can confirm the details of these announcements. Firstly, Drew McIntyre, formerly known as Drew McIntyre, now going again by his real name, Drew Galloway. He will be returning to Scotland this August, on August 29th for BCW, British Championship Wrestling, in Kilmarnock, and on August the 30th in Aberdeen for WrestleZone. I won't be able to make these events. I've got a busy weekend. Scottish Wrestling Entertainment has its Hell for Lycra 11 event on that 30th of August, Saturday, so I won't be able to attend the event, but it's going to be a great to see the pictures and see any video of the return of Drew McIntyre to Scotland, the guy that can hold his head extremely high in regards to what he did in WWE. Now, talking of WWE talent, we saw, obviously, as everybody saw on Monday, Vicky Guerrero leave WWE. She put up a thank you and goodbye letter, which is on WWE.com. Pretty much saying it's been an amazing 9-year career. She's loved performing in front of the millions of people. Gained some amazing friendships that will always be in her heart. Time to turn the page and start a new career in medical administrations. It is time to say goodbye and thank you to everyone from the WWE Universe, WWE headquarters, and everyone backstage. You can read it on WWE.com, that full letter. Now, they of course have the pay-per-view Money in the Bank happening this coming Sunday. Bit of a question mark over Bad News Barrett, thrown into a crowd barricade by Jack Swagger on Tuesday at the SmackDown taping. Apparently he heard a pop. He said on Twitter it's being investigated today, so hopefully tomorrow or Saturday we will know his status in regards to his competing in the Money in the Bank ladder match for the WWE Championship contract. Currently scheduled for that match is Bad News Barrett versus Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler versus Jack Swagger versus Kofi Kingston versus Rob Van Dam versus Seth Rollins. Obviously, they have a ladder match as well on the card for the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Competing in that match is Alberto Del Rio, Bray Wyatt, Cesaro, John Cena, Kane, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and Sheamus. I hope that we will get in that match kind of a different than normal and then the standard WWE type ladder match. I think it would be good to see. I really don't know. I think, maybe, like I said before, maybe Bray Wyatt to take the win on that one, but it's certainly going to be a good pay-per-view. Other matches, of course, will be made in the run-up to that pay-per-view. Also, news that broke last night: Josh Matthews, former wrestler, commentator, backstage reporter, interviewer, has now left WWE. I think this news has not been confirmed officially by WWE, although, and I have checked this myself, his WWE.com profile has been moved to the website's alumni section, which is the people who used to be associated with the company, and he was seen last night in New York City at making his way to the Manhattan Center, where Impact Wrestling were doing tapings for their Impact Wrestling TV program, walking and talking with Jeff Hardy. Josh Matthews will be serving as a commentator for Booker T's Reality of Wrestling's Summer of Champions pay-per-view happening on July 26th. Now, the question I have about Global Force Wrestling. Now, I may be overthinking this, and this may be something that really doesn't matter, or perhaps it does. It's just last night. I was thinking about this. Global Force Wrestling earlier in the week confirmed it is entering a working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Global Force Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling has a working relationship with a Mexican company called CMLL. I've talked about them many times before. Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. It's the only one I can remember. I can never remember what AAA stands for, but CMLL is the #1 wrestling organization in Mexico. New Japan Pro Wrestling has had now for several years a great working relationship with that company. In fact, every year they have Fantastica Mania, a kind of 3-day festival, pay-per-view stuff now with them. It normally happens about end of January, beginning of February, maybe perhaps going into March. We have CMLL talent come over to New Japan and they do inter-promotional shows, normally 3 of them. Now, Global Force Wrestling is working with New Japan. The owner of Global Force Wrestling is Jeff Jarrett, who also is having a working relationship and now appears still on a regular basis with another Mexican wrestling company called AAA. Now, from what I've heard over the few years, people in AAA do not like CMLL and people in CMLL do not like AAA. There's some heated rivalry, extremely heated political rivalry going on. Now, I cannot confirm this completely. I don't have any sources in Mexico or anybody that I know in Mexico that could confirm these. But I have heard seen it on social media that certain people in AAA don't like certain people when it comes to executives in CMLL. So I do not know how real this is, how well worked this is, as they say in wrestling. But certainly from what I've heard, the companies do not like each other. And so, I'm thinking last night, remembering the comments on MLW Radio, one of the MLW Radio podcasts, that Lucha Libre legend Conan takes part in a couple on MLW Radio podcasts, but certainly one just a few days ago, he was saying that he thinks, he certainly confirmed that he believes he has burnt his bridges with CMLL for good. That they would not, even if say AAA went out of business tomorrow, they would never have him back. Not even to say, haha, now you're working for us. That they don't like him in CMLL now at all. Now it's getting a bit complicated, but Global Force is working with New Japan, who has a working relationship with CMLL, and Jeff Jarrett also has a working relationship with AAA, and AAA and CMLL apparently really don't like each other. That's the most simplest way of putting it I can think of. So I'm just wondering whether this will affect any of these inter-company relationships. Will they be able to survive or even thrive due to all this supposed animosity between the companies? I know New Japan is not involved in this. From what I've heard, they have no bad feelings for any company at all around the world. From what I've heard, they certainly have not said. I don't believe so. They don't. There's not a company that New Japan will go, really, we hate these guys. But I don't know. Will this cause any collapse in Global Force Wrestling's relationship with these companies? I genuinely don't know. That's what this may be something I'm just thinking of, that it's a complete load of rubbish that doesn't really come into it. That's if it exists at all. I don't know, genuinely don't know whether the CMLL and AAA rivalry is that deep-seated like it was in WCW and the WWE during those Monday Night Wars. Just Gerald Briscoe, I think it is, on the Monday Night Wars DVDs. We're going to kill you. You're taking food from our family's tables. If we see you, we're going to fight you. He meant it physically. Fight the person. If he saw them, saw WCW staff in an airport, you would go along and punch them. He genuinely did mean it that way. So I don't know if anybody does know if the two companies really don't like each other, AAA and CMLL, and I don't know, would this animosity between AAA and CMLL hurt? Is it going to? Would it? And will it hurt Global Force Wrestling in the long term, or any projects? I don't know. I would love if there is a deep-seated rivalry between AAA and CMLL. Obviously, I don't see CMLL getting involved with Global Force Wrestling because Jeff Jarrett works with AAA, so I wouldn't really see CMLL guys work on Global Force Wrestling shows. It would be great if Jeff Jarrett and Global Force Wrestling would be able to be peacemakers, so that even just simply on Global Force Wrestling shows, we could see CMLL versus AAA matches. I mean, obviously, as with any country with wrestling, some people have gone from AAA to CMLL, and some talent have gone from CMLL to AAA, and sometimes, occasionally, actually, it's not been very politely done, with stealing, kind of taking characters which they really don't own from one company to another, and that's what I'm saying. Kind of get the impression that they don't hate, they really don't like each other, and from what I've heard on podcasts and social media, they really don't like each other. But I don't know. Would this affect Global Force Wrestling's relationship with various companies? Would CML put pressure on New Japan to not work with Global Force Wrestling because they're working with AAA, or would this matter to any of these companies? Am I just talking a lot of rubbish here? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Is this gonna hurt Global Force Wrestling's future plans? Would any of these companies really give a crap? Would they really care about any of this stuff? I genuinely don't know, but it's certainly very interesting. Very quickly, I'm going to try to keep this at least 15 minutes, this video, not to go too long. Also, last night, Bound for Glory was announced to be happening in Tokyo, Japan, at the Kurikan Hall. Impact Wrestling will co-host this with the Wrestle One promotion, which is owned and operated by Kaijai Muto, aka the Great Muta, who, according to reports, was set to wrestle last night at the Impact Wrestling tapings, but didn't, looking at the results that I could find. He may wrestle tonight or tomorrow. I do believe it's the 25th to the 27th that they're doing tapings in New York City at the Manhattan Center. So he may wrestle tonight or tomorrow, but he was there making the announcement alongside Dixie Carter that Bound for Glory on October 12th, 2014 will happen at the Kurikan Hall in Tokyo, Japan. Obviously, this is a furtheration again, a continuation, as I said, of the Wrestle One Impact Wrestling relationship, which I think is good. I mean, some people have said is that this is a bit of a finger to giving the bird, the one finger, two finger salute to the UK. I genuinely don't know that. I don't think that really. I am not sure whether. I know Dixie Carter for the longest time she has talked in the UK press about having a pay-per-view or a special event happening in the UK, whether it be Scotland or England or Wales or one of the Northern Republic of Ireland. She's talked about it for several years. I think that's perhaps why some people think that it's a bit of a one finger or two finger salute to the UK fans. But I think overall it's a good step to have their show in Japan. I don't know whether any companies have really held this kind of event in Japan before. I know WCW did with a Starrcade in 1990, 1991 or 92 or something like that, but we're doing it this way. But I think it's going to be good. It's going to be interesting pay-per-view to keep an eye on, to watch out. I don't know obviously. We don't know at this stage what the timings are going to be when it regards to the US and UK audience for the viewing of this pay-per-view. It may be available online. We don't know. We do not know any details like that so far. But we normally get it in the UK 3 days after the pay-per-view, so there's plenty of time for the tape to get from the UK to from Japan to the UK. So I'm sure we'll get it in plenty of time. There's all sorts of digital ways they can send it online, I'm sure, these days. I honestly don't know how they do it these days on television industry from one provider to the next, but so I think that's a good step for Bound for Glory to be happening in Japan. Very quickly before I go as well, just like to say I will be attending the Scottish Wrestling Entertainment Awards ceremony tomorrow night, happening at the Adler Complex. We're looking forward to that. I've decided it's just going to take my camera, so if anybody, I don't know what the setup's going to be there tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be like, what the whole situation is going to be, but it's going to be a fun night anyway. Whatever the setup is going to be, it's going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable, and then we'll all be back at the Ardler Complex the following night for their monthly uprising event, which is going to be great. As I said earlier, on the road to hell for Lycra 11, featuring like the Road Warrior Animal, etc. It's going to be fantastic. I've started putting a couple of mini preview videos. About a couple of the matches which I'll put up. They're unofficial, of course, just taken completely from my footage, so I'll put them up. A couple of them are okay, a couple of them need to get a little bit of footage for them, depending on what the matches are on Saturday, but it's going to be good to go there, awards ceremony tomorrow night, and then Uprising. Of course, there are full reports on both these events in the next several days when I get the chance. And I want to very quickly say before I go, because I'm really going over the 15 minutes that I was wanting to keep to, but the new edition of the WWE magazine in the UK comes with this: the best of WWE main event #1. It's reported to be the first in a series of at least 4 DVDs. Highlights there are actually 10 full matches from WWE's main event television program. We do not get it yet in the UK. This program, you see that is the cover of it. You see the WWE superstars there. We don't get this program yet in the UK. I believe it will be launching at the start of next year due to the television deals ending in the UK, and well, not ending but being renewed in different terms and conditions, being put into the new deals, new contracts. But it's some good matches featuring like Ryback, Alberto Del Rio, John Cena, Kofi Kingston, The Miz, CM Punk, Sheamus, Team Rhodes Scholars, Team Hell No, and a battle royal for the #1 contendership for the United States Championship. The Shield and the Shield versus the Usos and Justin Gabriel. Some decent matches on there. Okay, so that's available free with the new edition of the WWE magazine in the UK. I'm not sure about how worldwide they're doing this or that, but certainly in the UK editions of the new WWE magazine, you can get the free best of WWE main event #1. I said that'll be the first. That is supposed to be the first in a series of at least 4 or 5 best of WWE main event free DVDs with the magazine over the next several months. Not every month, I believe, but over the next certainly a few months. So a lot of major announcements, a lot of things going on. And said I'll give full reports about the award ceremony, how it went, what the setup, and perhaps put a couple of pictures to show people on YouTube, see how it went. I don't know exactly what will happen tomorrow night, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Be great to hang around with some of the men and women of the SWE outside of just the quick meet and greet that they do at the end of every show, and obviously like the big events where they do the meet and greets. Be great to actually spend some time with them and see the awards winners, the Siren Female Wrestler of the Year, the Wrestler of the Year, what just basically what talent and which matches pick up all the major awards. So it's going to be a lot of fun.